people live even after they die. Their words continues to live in the hearts of billions. Today, we bring you a story. Story of a person who was born in a one-room log cabin, who had to work at an early age for a living, who hardly had 1 year of schooling, and the one who became one of the greatest presidents the world has ever seen. Today, we bring you the life story of Abraham Lincoln. Welcome to Letsplain. In the year 1809, a second child was born to Thomas Lincoln and Nancy Hanks. They named him Abraham Lincoln. People called him Ab. At the age of 4, Abraham Lincoln and family moved to Indiana. They lived in a tiny shed. When he was 9, something tragic happened. His mother, Nancy Lincoln, passed away. For the sake of his children, Abraham Lincoln's father, Mr. Thomas Lincoln, married Sarah Bush Johnston. Soon, she became his dear mother as well as his teacher. From a very young age, Abraham Lincoln was very good at learning, but life chose him hard path. For a living, Abraham Lincoln had to work really hard. He cut woods with his father, worked as a surveyor, postman, store clerk, boatman. He was also a very good wrestler, participated in about 300 competitions and won every single match except one. His name can be seen in the American National Wrestling Hall. At the age of 23, he started participating in social activities. Competed in the election of 1832, but the wind was blowing against him. Politics wasn't a field for people who had poor background during that time. But nothing could dismine his willpower. In 1834, he won the election as the leader of Whig Party. After 3 consecutive winnings, he became the member of Legislative Assembly for 8 years. He also started learning law for understanding politics in its depth. He became a lawyer when he was 28 years old. It was his time to shift to a new place. Lincoln moved to Springfield. With the help of his friend Stewart, he started his practice. It only took a small amount of time for him to be a renowned lawyer. South America was under the grip of dark habit of slavery. Many African people who had been put under the label of slaves were being exploited in the fields of South America. While the southern states supported slavery, the northern states opposed it. Abraham Lincoln also supported the idea of America without slavery. He, who became the member of Congress, introduced a bill for the abolition of slavery. But in the other part, someone else was also growing up. Stephen Douglas. He was the member of Democratic Party and supporter slavery. Many couldn't stand the conventional ideas of Democrats. They decided to form another party. Thus, a new organization named Republican Party was born. Their search for a suitable candidate for the election of 1860 ended in Abraham Lincoln. In the presidential election of 1860, Abraham Lincoln won. But things were quite challenging for him. The southern states, which supported the idea of slavery, decided to secede from the American Union. They collectively declared themselves as the Confederate States, elected Jefferson Davis as its president. They also formed a constitution supporting the institution of slavery. The states which supported Lincoln was known as the Federal States. As the time passes, many other states started to secede from the Union. The fight between the North and South culminated into the Civil War. Death and destruction followed. Things were getting out of hands. Partition of the country should be avoided at any cost. Lincoln determined. 70 months passed. There came an important declaration: the abolition of slavery. It happened in 1st January 1863, an event marked in history. War brings sorrows. About 24,000 soldiers lost their life. Gettysburg was one of the main centers of American Civil War. A commemoration event was organized. Everyone was waiting for Abraham Lincoln's speech. They were expecting a long speech just like the talks done by others. Sometimes small words convey deeper messages. Abraham Lincoln limited his words to 3 minutes. It is the famous Gettysburg speech.
77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
He defined democracy there. Democracy is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. We should protect it. For lakhs of people who lived in the South, the Civil War brought severe losses. It laid scars in the heart of people. John Wilkes Booth, a stage actor, was living with a wide open scar. He was a member of an organization named Knights of the Golden Circle. In 1864, the military general Ulysses Grant made an important decision not to free even those who surrendered from the members of the Confederate. Booth and other members decided to kidnap Lincoln. 14th April 1865. It was a Friday. Ford Theater. Booth was there. He knew that the president and his wife would be there. Booth created a team to kill the higher officials. The spider was making a perfect web. From the morning itself, Mary Lincoln wasn't feeling well. She requested Lincoln to avoid the visit, but he wasn't ready to cancel a predetermined program. 10 hours 40 minutes at night. Lincoln's bodyguard wasn't looking a perfect timing. And it was done. The great American president was shot in the head. Dramatic moments. 7 hours 22 minutes in the morning, Abraham Lincoln was gone to eternal sleep. He was only 56 years old. His honesty, simple way of living, thoughts continues to inspire billions.